here, and there's a giant anticline, an anticlinorium really, that has just brought all this stuff up, and a lot of that displacement occurred along the Washita Valley Fault, which is dominantly a reverse motion fault with a little bit of strike slip. So it's a major Pennsylvanian fault. This Cambrian, the Aulacogen developed in the Cambrian by rifting.
Go ahead, finish on.
By rifting, and then in the Pennsylvanian it was inverted, and it got all this incredible thrust tectonics that brought all these igneous rocks up, which is why we're seeing them right along the Washita Valley Fault. The interesting thing that Ham, Dennison, and Merritt pointed out is when you go in the subsurface, not too far south, you can drill through 4,500 feet of rhyolite, and you didn't hit the base. They stopped drilling. You got 4,500 feet of rhyolite there. No rhyolite now preserved across the Washita Valley Fault. And Bob Puckett, where he's been working in wells here, has found much thicker sections of volcanic. What's your thickest section? 4.3 kilometers? So 4.3 kilometers of basalt and rhyolite, just a little bit. How far south of the fault?
1 kilometer.
Yeah, so 1 kilometer south of that fault, you've got 4.5 kilometers of thickness of rhyolite and basalt. The base wasn't hit. Right across, none. So Ham, Dennison, and Merritt reasoned that meant that this was originally in the Cambrian, a rift-bounding fault, and all the rhyolites and the volcanics were trapped on the southwest side of that fault. It's a beautiful explanation. I think it's very valid. So this is a major Cambrian rift fault that was inverted in the Pennsylvania.
And I don't want to let Richard get away with this. There are some people who would maintain that some of these major northwest-southeast trending faults are dominantly strike-slip with a hint of thrusting. One of the explanations for not finding a huge pile of volcanics on the other side of the Washita Valley Fault is they're strike-slipped away. They're somewhere else. And there are two very nice papers, I think, in your guidebook. I know they're in your guidebook because I read them, and I put them there, that explain the Chauveltum field, oil field, and what was the other one, Molly?
The Eola-Robertson?
The Eola-Robertson field, where Brian Tapp at Tulsa has interpreted them as parts of flower structures.
Caused by transpression.
Transpression. So there was some compression, there was also some strike slip.
There's undoubtedly there is transpression. You can see it here and in the Wichitas too, but the most detailed studies I've seen are people like David McConnell, who's really studied the isopac trends in Paleozoic rocks, the pre-Pennsylvanian ones on each side, and he figures out that there's probably only like tens of kilometers of strike slip.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad.
No, and there's strike slip,
yeah.
But I think the dominant motion is reverse. And the CoCorp, the deep seismic profiles that run across there, show a gigantic thrust, district thrust. But
Should we put it to a vote?
This is an ongoing thing.